Do you remember the candy onion?
Yes.
Whose idea was that?
It was Ross. It's funny because
Yeah.
and Ross caught you in a lie, which I think about it, which is pretty funny.
So, okay, how did that all end up going down? He asked if I, ate that onion or whatever.
You're like, oh, it was great.
It was great, and I was just trying to be nice because I'm like, guy gave me an onion, and I'm just, trying to be nice.
So
he's like...
So we went out to
I hate
Iowa.
onions, and I didn't eat the damn onion.
No, you're probably like, I don't know why he's so obsessed with this freaking candy apple. Ross brings... Who'd he give it to? I can't remember. It was probably a bunch of, but he's like, I'm gonna make candy onions and tell everybody they're candy apples, and I'm gonna bring them out and hand them out. And so he was insisting to give you. You're like, yeah, cool, thanks, man. Whatever. Okay, thanks for this weird candy apple you brought from New Hampshire. And then you're probably just threw it in the back. And then so Ross was waiting for nothing, and finally he was like, hey, did you like that candy apple? Like, yeah, man, it was great. He was like, F you, it was an onion. You didn't even eat it.
Welcome to the Just Hunt Podcast.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Just Hunt Podcast. This is episode number 25. Matt says, he tells me just a second ago. We have Mr. Erik Barber on today. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Brett. It's a pleasure. Matt, always good catching up.
Mm-hmm.
We were just reminiscing on stories of what was probably the worst hunting experience we've ever had. I'm sure we'll get to that, but we don't need to dive right into that quite yet.
What?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I think the last time I saw you was NWTF. Is that right?
Yeah.
Must have been.
Yep.
It wasn't that long ago. I was thinking
No.
It hasn't been that long.
No.
All things considered, since you're in Wisconsin and we're over here on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Why don't, obviously, you work for Vortex. What is your title there?
Yeah, so my title is content manager. So yeah, I oversee our video strategy, social strategy, email, podcast team, and just work with a ton of awesome people. You know, we're so lucky that we've got a big team dedicated to this. We're in a lot of places it's one guy that does everything. We've got an awesome team of the greatest people ever that wear a lot of different hats, and it's a ton of fun.
Are you responsible for all the tactical stuff as well?
Yeah, so we have one marketing team that oversees everything. So the Vortex brand, which is obviously hunt tactical, shoot, all the things. Edge, Vortex Edge, which is the training entity of Vortex. So we've got an indoor 150, 25 shoot house, all fully comprehensive indoor training facility. And then I'm leaving stuff out. Golf. We got into golf in February and some more really cool stuff coming there too. Golf is definitely an area that we're growing and kind of hitting the ground running, and just going to be fast and nimble. And there's more stuff in addition to rangefinders coming that's going to be pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got one marketing team of 54, I believe, people that handle all three of those brands. So it's a ton of fun.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You guys are deep over there.
That whole complex is pretty wild.
What's that?
So that whole complex is pretty wild.
It is so cool. I mean, for anyone, that hasn't seen it in person, it is such a cool facility to come check out. But yeah, it's world class and awesome people too, which makes it even better.
Yeah. So I want to actually, I have a lot of questions about that, but let's back up first before we get there. So let's talk about how your journey to arrive where you're at Vortex and the position you're at.
Yeah.
And so some may know, some may not. You were an intern with a lot of the infamous. Oh yeah. I feel like that's the most infamous class from Midwest Whitetail right there. Well, I don't know. There's a few of them that are pretty good.
I like to think so. We were a pretty deep class. Me, John Lewis, and Luke Nissen. We were the apple dumpling gang over there, man.
Is that typical to have that many at one time, or was that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think here. We interned in 2013.
Yeah.
In 2012, that would have been AJ Gall, Lake Pickle. Oh gosh, I think they had 4 or 5 that year. So like they went 4 or 5, then we went our group, which was a group of 3. Then the following year, I think we went 2. Then we went 3. So we were always in that like 2 to 3-ish, interns at Midwest Whitetail.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool. It was cool. Like that time, just like going and, obviously I was in there a few times and saw the behind the scenes stuff. It was pretty neat. It was, I think, I don't know, honestly, probably a pretty good internship if you look at the results it produced and like the people within the industry. I mean, it was pretty successful, regardless of how it ended up or whatever. Well, it's still going, I guess. Just a little bit different, I guess. It's a little bit different. I mean, same brand, but wow.
Yeah, obviously Bill left in 2018. Sold in 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, I remember when like everyone that's interned there, like I was a fan of the show first before I, moved on to interning at Midwest Whitetail.
Let's talk about that. So were you right out of college when you interned?
I was, I would have been in the second semester of my junior year.
Okay.
So it would have been this would have been January of 2013. And it would have been like spring semester of 2013. And I knew I needed an internship, to like for some, course curriculum requirement stuff. And I was passionate about the hunting industry. And I was kind of starting to do some like initial research. I reached out to a couple of real estate brands, a couple other, manufacturing brands that manufacture like a product. Just kind of, saying, hey, does anyone offer anything? And around that time, I wasn't even aware of the Midwest Whitetail internship. I was just someone that watched the show.
Okay.
And it was this is back in the good old days of Facebook. They posted the opportunity on Facebook. And it was, a link to the website, clicked on the link, read through it, and they were basically looking for anyone that could come in and do some like written content, video content, and just like filming hunts. And I'm like, man, that sounds like a dream job. Literally, those were the words that I was using at the time, like dream job, and to this day, like it was, like looking back, it was the most fun part of my life. But
I'm
anyway,
laughing because I can just see you telling people it's a dream job back then. That's why I'm laughing.
Totally.
Not that it wasn't.
Totally,
man. I can see Erik Barber being like, it's a dream job.
Dude, full of piss and vinegar, just ready to rock, And in that, in the job posting, Winke had in there, it was a link to, like, if anyone's familiar with the show, Midwest Whitetail had a website. On that website, there was a section called Winke's blog, and it was a link. The application was actually posted in Winke's blog. So, like, it was long form text, like a big text description that had a link to, like, how to apply, which basically you sent in your resume, cover letter, some examples into an email address. But in there, the last thing it said was, like, this opportunity can literally change the direction of your life. And I will never forget that line ever, because it literally did. I mean,
true.
For me, like, I had another internship offer for, why am I totally blanking on the name? But it was like just a local marketing thing in Wisconsin, not at all in the hunting and shooting industry. I'm totally blanking. It was like a nonprofit. Kind of like a boys and girls program type thing, but not something that like I was passionate about. Like it would have been a cool opportunity, and like that job specifically would have been doing stuff with like the Milwaukee Brewers and like all these different things. It was awesome, right? But it just wasn't at all what I was like. Yeah. The reason my feet hit the floor every morning, So, anyways, long story short, went down there, interviewed in Albia with Warb. And the crew, met the crew in the office, and then for like the final part, we had to go out to Bill's and met Bill, interviewed with him. And really funny story on this, we jumped in Warb's blue Ford Focus. We called it the Smurf.
Oh yeah.
And we took it out to Bill's. Bill's was probably about 15 minutes outside of town. And we pull in. He's got this like long driveway that just had like a slight little like incline going up, and we ended up getting the Smurf stuck in his driveway. It was like
wasn't it gravel?
Spring. It was gravel.
Well, how'd it get stuck?
Man, that car was like it lived way longer than anyone thought that car would live. But somehow we got stuck. Like it was kind of slushy and like kind of crummy out. So car stuck. Go in. Interview with Bill, which was 15-20 minutes. Like it was short. And I drove 6 hours to go down there. And anyways, come out and now Warb and I got to get this car unstuck. So Warb's in the driver's seat and Bill and I are in the back and Warb's just like gunning it and we're trying to push this thing. I'm getting like covered in like, dirt and junk and slush and whatnot. And I remember saying to Warb as we were driving out, like we had just hit like the blacktop coming out of the gravel, the back roads. And I was just kind of making small talk and I'm like, man, I really appreciate the opportunity. Regardless how this turns out, it's pretty cool that I got to push your car out of Winke's driveway with Bill. Oh man. And that right there, that moment was like the biggest foreshadowing of like what the next 5 years of my life was gonna just getting unstuck, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. So you got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
You moved to Albia and lived with John Lewis.
Yeah.
Which is many stories within that, but we won't need to get into
we won't get into those, but that was a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds a little sloppy to me from the accounts I've heard.
Oh man, living on banquet pot pies, like they were 69 cents at this place called Jim and Charlie's. There were like two grocery stores in town in Albia. There was a Hy-Vee that we couldn't afford to shop at, and then there was Jim and Charlie's. We called it Jim and Chuck's for short. And they had banquet pot pies, and if you went there on like Wednesday, you could get them for like 69 cents a pot pie. And then we would buy those, and then I would buy cans of Dinty Moore beef stew.
Yep.
Because it was like just high calorie and like the price was in cents, not dollars, And we would just load up on that. And I remember one night, like so vividly, we hunted that night. It was like cold, crappy, and rainy, and no one saw anything. Like that year was a really tough hunting year. It was early November, and John and I got back to our house, and we were like, well, let's make some dinner. And John made mac and cheese in a pot pie. I made a pot pie and that Dinty Moore beef stew. And we ended up mixing everything together and just like ate that. And it was like the worst dining experience of my entire life. I mean, literally, like we're gonna get sick. Like this is not good. We've slept for 20 minutes in the past 3 days, and like now we're just full of like processed nonsense, and we're gonna wake up in 48 minutes and go try to do this again.
I don't think people that get into this, that side of the industry or these internships really understand like what it's like. Like I mean, just like no sleep, eating shit, just like complete nonsense. Always trying to get unstuck. Literally, it's just like
totally.
Oh man, it's brutal.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you are. But like that. It's funny. I was talking to John today, actually, on my way home from work. Just called to catch up and whatnot, and we somehow got talking about all this stuff. And like, man, that experience though, like, I just feel like was such a cool, like, there were ups and downs, right? Like, I mean, we made like no money, like literally made no money, and but the things that we learned and like the relationships that we got out of it, like the people that we worked with, I mean, are like family, and I mean, to this day, without that, I literally do not know who I would be, and so thankful for that.
Yeah. No, I think those types of experience, particularly when you're young and trying to figure stuff out, and like, you just don't know what you're doing, to be honest, and you're like, well, let's just try eating these 79 cents pot pies and see if this will give us enough nourishment, and if we can keep us going. Just like stuff like that where you just don't. It's like, I don't know, let's see how this goes. I think that's super important for people to have those type of experiences. And like it's it's like the grind and the struggle at that point in your life, I just feel like is so important for like shaping people.
Oh,
and their
totally.
character,
Totally. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was like there's so many stories from that fall of 2013. Like it was a blast, and something that like, I mean, today, like talking to John, it's just like you pick right back up. Like I haven't talked to him probably in about a month and a half. But like, he called me yesterday. I missed him. I called him today on my way home, and you pick right back up. Like it was November 8th of 2013. You know what I mean? So,
do you remember the candy onion?
Yes.
Whose idea was that?
It was Ross. It's funny because
and
Ross caught you in a lie, which I think about it, which is pretty funny.
So, okay, how did that all end up going down? He asked if I like ate that onion or whatever.
You're like, oh, it was great.
It was great, and I was just trying to be nice because I'm like, guy gave me an onion, and I'm just like trying to be nice.
So
he's like,
we went out to Iowa.
Onions and I didn't eat the damn onion.
No, you're probably like, I don't know why he's so obsessed with this freaking candy apple. Ross brings. Who'd he give it to? I can't remember. There's probably like a bunch of, but he's like, I'm gonna make candy onions and tell everybody they're candy apples, and I'm gonna bring them out and hand them out. And so he was like insisting to give you. You're like, yeah, cool, thanks, man. Like whatever. Like I don't like. Okay, thanks for this weird candy apple you brought from New Hampshire. Like, and then you're like, probably just like threw in the back. And so Ross was like waiting for nothing. And finally he was like, hey, did you like that candy apple? Like, yeah, man, it was great. He was like, F you, it was an onion. You didn't even eat it.
When I said it was great, I remember he was like, yeah, it was great. He's like, why don't you tell me about it? And like at that moment, I'm like, oh crap. Like there's more to this than just a candy apple at this point.
Oh, it was funny. The typical Ross move right there. Mm-hmm. I don't know why it popped in my head, but it did.
I'm glad, dude. I like that. It's one of those things where as soon as you mention it, I'm like, oh my god. Like I haven't thought about that probably since I was 2015. I think that you guys hunted down there.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago, and I'm like, 100%.
You definitely would hate hunting with Ross because he's notorious for stealing and like withholding people's snacks because he doesn't like to eat when he hunts because he's a psychopath.
Yeah.
And I know that's not your style at all.
That is not my style. No, not at all. Like if we're going out, like I know this past year, like Matt, when you and John were in town, we hunted that. I think we only did one morning hunt.
Yeah.
And it was on that like big bluff piece, and we went in there and like. I'll like on a morning hunt, I'll bring like coffee for the road, and I love coffee and I love caffeine, and so like I'll drink a coffee on the way to the spot, and then as soon as I get in the tree, like I'm drinking coffee out of like my little portable thing, and I've got like, and that was for like a 2 or 3 hour morning hunt.
So you bring snacks and coffee on a 2 hour sit?
I bring coffee on every hunt, every single.
What about
hunt.
the evening?
Evening hunt I won't, but like every morning hunt I've got coffee with me. I don't always have like food or snacks for like if I'm just hunting for like a couple hours or whatever.
But you just like sitting there with a coffee.
But I've always got caffeine.
Yeah.
I think I'd be too nervous to drink coffee because I think I'd have to climb down.
You would not be able to shoot.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to shoot straight if you had.
Probably not. So did you work there for how long after your internship? Did you finish? How did that? I guess that's a good question. I actually don't know what happened after your internship, other than I know you ended up working there for a period of time.
Yep. So my internship ended in December of 2013. I was there from like June, July until December, and then December of 13 I went back, like right after Christmas. Yeah. Call it like the New Year, like January of 2014. I had like one semester of school to finish up. No, I had 2 semesters. So I finished up the spring semester of 2014.
Yep.
And then I had one class to take. I was like literally 4 credits shy. So I had one class to take then my fall semester of 14. And in between that time, I was talking with Bill and Warb a bunch. I'm like, hey, what's it, like, this is my plan. I want to, pick back up full time after, I finished this class. Like, are you guys going to have, is there an opportunity? And I knew that the business at that time was just growing like crazy.
Yeah.
We had a ton of like responsibilities with Cabela's. We had all of the other sponsors that, Midwest Whitetail had at the time. And, kind of an aside, like being like in my role now and 10 years later, I know what brands pay brands for different things and whatnot. And then I look back at what Bill had in 2013, 2014, 2015, and what he was making on those sponsorships. And I will give Bill all the credit in the world. He was so far ahead of the game. I mean, he was doing really well financially, and the business was doing great. So from then, kind of bringing it back to like my point of view and that transition time from like 14 to when I started, then it felt like a smart opportunity. Not only was it something I was super interested in and wanted to do, but like I knew at least enough about the back end of the business that I'm like, man, this is not only something I'm interested in, but it's a good idea.
Yep.
So, I was kind of staying in front of those guys, and I was doing some freelance stuff. I would go down, I would film, a couple of the guys here and there on weekends, because I literally had one class during my fall semester of 14. So I'd go down, I'd film Scott Pruka on weekends. I managed stuff on the backside of the website, like uploading things here and there. I would like do written content, and I was then in that time I was also on the air quotes like pro staff, and filming all my hunts and like submitting footage that way. So that was then the fall of 14, and then it would have been like November of 2014. I was like maybe 3 or 4 weeks away from finishing up that semester. And finally I called Bill out of the blue, and I'm like, hey, like, I'm going to be done in 4 weeks. I've got, these are all the things that I've been doing since my internship. Like, let's have a real conversation about, like, is there going to be work, And we had a great conversation. He, thought on it for a little bit and emailed me then, like, the next day and basically said, like, hey, starting, forget what it was. I think it was like the first of the year. He's like, come on down. He's like, start looking for housing. I was engaged to my wife at the time. So like these were all the things that why I was being so like probably a pest of like, because it was more than just me, right? Like I had to figure out what Chantel was going to do, if we were going to find a place to live, all these different things. And long story short, moved down there then January of 2015, and started full time at that point. And my job basically from then until when I left then, and I guess that would have been like 17 for those like 2.5 years, was I edited and produced the off-season show, Great Plains regional show, Great Lakes regional show. I did all of our social stuff. I did all of our like web uploading. So I did we had a content management system through like Rhino Group, which is owned by Todd Graff, bowhunting.com. And they fueled like our backend. So I did all like the XML at the time, all XML generator, like putting code on the website to include like insert videos and all that stuff. And that was kind of like my area, like everyone had their thing. Like John was focused on the waterfowl stuff. Warb was very focused on like the Cabela's content and like producing the content for that. So like all the public land stuff. And I was just like trying to find like a white space where no one really like was focused, and no one was really looking at the website in terms of like the admin stuff that wasn't really like the sexy stuff.
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, man, I can like actually do that. I know how to do it. And obviously that has huge benefit because that is the thing that people are coming to every day.
Yep.
So I kind of like grabbed that, and Mindy, Greg's wife, at the time was super helpful for like kind of getting me like familiar with all that. And once I started like learning enough to be dangerous, I just kind of took it and ran. And I mean, even from like a social standpoint, Midwest Whitetail wasn't really doing anything with social media. So I kind of like started doing
I don't think, didn't Bill like say we're not doing social media type of thing.
He literally.
I think I remember being in a meeting and be like, "Yeah, we're not doing that," or something like that, or we don't do social media.
No, totally. He explained it. He's like, social media to me is like taking a noodle and throwing it at that wall and seeing if it sticks. And he's like, that just doesn't make sense to me. And I mean, here we are, a group at the time of like 24, 25-year-old dudes, and like we're all on Instagram and Facebook, and we're like, we're just going to do this, and we did it. And I mean, it was a huge like it blew up. Like we finally had a social presence. And so, anyways, those were the things I guess that I did then in those like 3-ish years that I was there full time.
And then did you go? You didn't go right. Where did you go after? Because you weren't. Oh, Wisconsin DNR. Is that where you went?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. It would have been like, it would have been like January of 2017. Yep. And I saw actually Chantel, my wife, found a job posting on the Wisconsin DNR for like a social media manager.
Yep.
And at the time, we knew we wanted to go back to Wisconsin at some point, but I didn't want to go back to Wisconsin just like I wasn't going to leave the industry, and I wasn't going to leave just for, to do like any job. Basically, I was looking at a couple places. I had applied for a job or two at Vortex, positions that were like, totally outside of what I actually do, like, nothing marketing related, and it just never worked out. But then when we found that job posting at the DNR, I, obviously was always interested in that, and we applied, had a great interview, and like really liked the people there. And I think I started there then in April of 2017. And that was then when I left Midwest Whitetail.
Gotcha. Yep. And how long were you there for?
I was there exactly a year, like a year to the day. And
what was that like working for a state agency like that, coming from a very private, totally probably different, like completely polar how they're run, I assume?
Oh my gosh. Totally different. Like Midwest Whitetail was like, if you had an idea or you had something that you were going to do, it was like, well, why isn't it done already? And why isn't it done 5 minutes ago? Like, go do it, And then state agency, like, was just so much slower. But for me, like, coming in as someone that was, like, had my interest in the deer hunting side of things, that was, like, my role was social media manager for the entire department, not just, like, Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. Like, stuff with, like, clean air, clean water, everything that the department touches, recycling batteries. I remember I was sitting in a meeting on like November 3rd of that year of like talking about like this battery recycling program. And I'm like, what did I get myself into, But anyways, it was a really cool perspective for me because naturally just with my interests, I right away gravitated towards like the wildlife team and had some awesome connections there with like, everyone on the deer team specifically. Like they rolled me into their weekly like deer team meetings. But what was interesting, the most interesting for me was like just getting agencies' perspective on issues, the issues that we see as hunters.
Yeah.
And then the issues that like the people at the department see the same things that like you and I see. And they want the same things that like you and I want. The biggest thing for me, the most eye-opening part, and there are people that have spent their whole career working at state agencies that can speak to this much better than me, but it's just how, political wildlife management can be, which is super sad, and how, it just is something that, like, there might be a black and white issue to you and me, that we see it as, like, hey, this is the answer. But the department, just because of the way that it is run and because of, external political influences, this, that, and the other, they have to do it this way. And that's then the reason that guys like you and me end up kind of turning our back against like our departments, which I am 100% guilty of. I've especially before working at the department, I was very much in that boat. Like I wouldn't have called myself someone as like a huge advocate of our, state agency here in Wisconsin prior to working there.
Yeah.
But man, after working there and seeing like, the people that are there doing the things, doing the jobs, like doing the actual work, they are people no different than like you and me. And they want these same things. It is an unfortunate reality of like how we look at like wildlife resources is like this political thing, and external political influences can get their mitts on it. And that's why it's so, I'm totally going off here, but that is why it is so important for the average guy, the person that like loves to deer hunt, loves to fish, loves to do these things, right? That is why it's important for that guy to be engaged and actually like show up. Mm-hmm. We have something here in Wisconsin called our spring hearings, where you can like share your vote on like any amount of issues, from like, is live imagery in imaging and fishing, like is that a good or a bad thing? Is extending the archery season through the end of January a good or a bad thing? And like, we've got 500,000 deer hunters in this state, and we have 10,000 people, less than I think this year, that vote on this stuff. And that is what's terrible. Yeah. Like, we just need to be engaged, because like, we are the user group that is the most passionate and excited about this stuff. And if we don't actually show up, like, that's our job. Our job isn't buying a hunting license and managing, habitat. Like, that's the fun part, right? But our job as hunters is actually to show up and do those things, when it's not sexy and it's not convenient. And that was the biggest takeaway for me, kind of working at the department, for sure.
I think that's pretty common across the board, not just unique to Wisconsin. I mean, we hear that all the time. I know we just had like in New Hampshire, they set, I don't know if it's like 5 or 10 year objectives, and like basically they lay out, what are the seasons going to look like over the next X amount of years? What's the harvest objectives, like the whole thing for like all species? And they have like public hearings for it, and I think like 3 people showed up or something. I mean, we're a small state, so it's a scale thing, but like a fraction of a percentage of the actual licensed hunters show up. So I didn't go. Totally. I'm guilty of it too. I mean, to be honest, I was actually I actually read the proposal and I was like, it seems reasonable. It's like, so I'm like, I won't go. But like, if there was something in there that was like, oh my God, maybe I would have, but it's still, probably good to get involved whether you agree or not.
Yeah, totally. I think we're all guilty of like, something gets changed or passed or whatever, and then it's just like you're on a hunting page on Facebook or something. Everybody's sitting there bitching about it, but like none of us actually. No one did anything when they actually could have influenced it.
100%. Yeah, that's my point, right? Is like, if you're gonna sit there like we all do and like have an opinion on these things and talk shop at the watering hole, like, you better be in there in the trenches, like actually doing the things. And we're I mean, myself, even like, here I am talking about this stuff. Like, I missed the spring hearings in our state this year, missed the deadline. Granted, I will say, I do think that all of these departments need to do a much better job with like public outreach.
Yeah.
And bringing it back to what my job was at the department is exactly that, was like using alternative media tools like social, like I was there for a year. We launched a web series, with the Midwest Whitetail Experience. That was something that kind of translated over. My good buddy Sawyer, who I now work with, actually, ironically, at Vortex as well. Him and I kind of piloted this web series for the Wisconsin DNR called Wild Wisconsin. It was this like 13-part video series of like getting all this information out there in like an alternative way, on YouTube and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And like, that is where state agencies struggle. Like, they are just so far in the Stone Ages. So like, again, where I'm going is like, I miss the outreach that they put out this year. Like, we need to hold ourselves and the states kind of more accountable to like doing these things. Like, they're slow adopters of technology, right? And that's where I think like we just need to be involved and we need to make our voices heard.
That's good. I think you're right. It's tough. I think anytime it's not just with the government, you have a big organization with lots of interest, it's difficult. It's things that seem so simple and just like you said, black and white. Like, why don't we just do this? And everybody, like, at face value, there's like no one that disagrees with it, but it's like, well, yeah, but you got to consider this and this and this and this, and how are we going to do it, and when are we going to do it, and who's going to pay for it, and who, we need to do this to pat. It's like there's so many different things to go in it, and
totally,
all these, and it happens with big companies. Same thing. Like,
oh yeah,
it's tough when organizations are not quick to react and to pivot, and I think the ones that do are in really good shape.
Yeah, man, I mean, take the recent public land thing that we just all went through as an example. Like, that finally was an issue that, like, was so urgent, it raised to, like, the top of everyone's, like,
right.
Instagram news feed, and, like, they saw it on YouTube, they saw it, and everyone got involved. Like, I'm obviously acknowledging it's not realistic to maintain that energy for forever on every issue. But, like, look at how unified, like, not only the hunting and shooting community was on that, but just, like, everyone that was, like, a fan of public lands, like, we rallied,
Well, and the result was favorable because of the effort and the voice was heard. So it's not like it's falling on deaf ears if you actually put the effort in and there's a concerted message and group and movement. Like, you'll get results.
Totally.
So people just need to realize that it can be done. So go ahead.
You got the job at Vortex in 2018.
Yep.
And then take us down that road.
Yeah. So I, honestly, I think I kind of mentioned this. I applied at Vortex when I was still at Midwest Whitetail,
right.
Because we knew we wanted to get back to Wisconsin. And then finally in 18, social media position opened up, and I'm like, man, if I don't get this, like, this is the opportunity that should work. Right. So, super lucky that position worked out. I started in April of 2018. And I think when I started there, we had less than 20 people in our marketing team, and which was still a pretty good sized marketing team, But like, we were at a time where Vortex had just moved into our new building in Barneveld. So Vortex prior to 2018 was out of Middleton, Wisconsin, just off the west side of Madison, and it was kind of in like this, strip mall area where they just kept expanding, right? And they were like growing out of this place, like they were just bursting at the seams. So some backstory, like in 16, 17, they were exploring options and landed on Barneveld, which is kind of rural community, a little bit further west of Madison, probably 40 minutes west of Madison, where they could build this like campus, and our campus is incredible. It is truly a world-class facility. So when I started there, I'm like looking around at all these like empty cubicles, like quads of like, I'm like, man, I just started at this point. I don't know the inner workings of this place at all, but I'm like just kind of doing the math and looking around, like there's a lot of extra space here. Like this place is going to be growing, and I'm like there at this time for probably like a month, and I'm just like, these are the thoughts that I have in my head. And Vortex continued to grow like crazy. And now, it's been 18 to 25. What is that? 7-8 years. And we're just shy of 500 people total in the company. We have 55 people in marketing. We're awarded the Army's next generation squad weapon, fire control optic, the M157. So the amount of change just in the time that I've been there at Vortex has been insane, and like the growth has come with it. So I got super lucky getting in there at the right place at the right time. And just like what Vortex does an incredible job of is like, I mean, our interview process is pretty intense. We have, you'll do a phone interview with HR, then you'll come on site, then you'll do another Zoom interview with like the team. And then, you'll come in for like a full day and you'll meet like tons of people that you'll be working with. So it's a pretty extensive interview process. And what they do, the reason for that is like we take our culture so seriously. Like people that come in are people that we want to be excited to work with. And it's been awesome to see like what a group like that can do when you put that together with like, hey, this is what we're going to do.
Yep.
And man, I mean, I kind of alluded to this on the front end, but like the people I work with are the greatest people on earth. Like every single day, there's not like a Sunday night where you're like sitting there and you're like, man, it's Monday tomorrow. Like I got to go into the office and, you know, do this thing again. It's like Sunday night comes around and you're like, okay, like I'm thinking about tomorrow already. I'm fired up for this meeting that we're having on this thing. You know, you feel that. And it's an awesome place, awesome team, awesome, you know, and just so lucky that it's not only an awesome team, an awesome place, but it's in a line of work that I'm passionate about. So it's just like I hit the lottery with it, you know.
Mm-hmm. It seems like that tactical side. Okay, I'm just curious. What percentage is like hunting, I would say, of Vortex now? And what was it when you started? Has it kind of shifted?
It has shifted, I would say. I mean, it's been close to a like 50-50 split, I would say.
Has it? Okay.
But I do think, like, if you look back at content, I'll use like content specifically because that's what I can like definitely speak to. Like when I started in 2018, that was before like a lot of the, you know, logistical concerns on like social media, like shadow banning. Like shadow banning wasn't a word that we knew in 2018.
Yeah.
So like more of our tactical stuff, like we could get away with like posting things like, you know, more risque stuff. Yeah. And so inevitably we would kind of lean more content heavy on the tactical side from like 2018, 2019, 2020. And the growth that we saw on Instagram, like during that time was insane. I think when I started, we were just shy of 400,000 followers on Instagram. We're at like 1.1 million right now. And so much of that growth happened in 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
I mean, we were growing like, we'd have months where we'd grow like 13, 15, 20,000 followers on Instagram. And, but that was just like a total different time, you know? COVID happened, shadow ban started happening, you know, suppression of certain content starts happening. So our content strategy has kind of had to evolve with that. Like I just saw an ad today on, right before we jumped on, I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw like a digital ad for Montana Knife Company. And it said, Montana KN * FE Company. Because they had to like they couldn't spell out the word knife, and like we use a knife to like cut our food. Yeah. You know, it's a tool, just like an optic is a tool on another tool. Like these aren't big scary things. So with that, to your point, like our content has had to shift, and I think the whole industry has kind of had to shift. You know, in more creative ways to like showcase their brand. And one thing that we've really leaned into is like the lifestyle of hunting, shooting, the outdoors. So like our content is probably softened a little bit just because it has to by nature of the platform. You know, you either play by the rules or you get booted from the game. You know what I mean? Like we don't own our real estate on Instagram. At any day, Instagram can say, hey, you know, that's one too many strikes, you're done. Yeah. So we could continue to play by the rules that we played in 2018. But we might, you know, you don't know. Tomorrow's not guaranteed with that.
Yeah,
so
it's unfortunate that's you're 100% right, but it's unfortunate that that's the case, that, you know, there's no other options. Well, no other good options. I'll say comparable options at this point.
And one thing that we, like, in terms of, like, other options that we really leaned into, probably starting in 2020 was email marketing.
Yep.
And that's just grown up our email newsletter list. Yep. So we always had an email. We always had like a weekly-ish newsletter, but we never treated it like a tangible product that we were like super excited about. And around like 2019, 2020, that all kind of changed, and we started to treat that as something that is like something we're proud of. We had a much more like concerted focus on like generating email leads and like growing up that subscriber base. And that then has been something that's probably the biggest thing I've seen from like our content standpoint, where like now we have a huge and awesome engaged email list, and every single week we send out an email that is packed with actual value. It's not like a newsletter that you open up and you're like delete. Like you open up next week's email, and we're going to have like a buyer's guide on Defender red dots that's actually going to walk you through like which dot is going to work for you and like a variety of different applications. And then we're not trying to sell it to you. We're trying to help you make like an informed like decision. And we're like very content heavy, not sale heavy. Like we try to just make sure that people that subscribe to that newsletter are actually finding value in it and not just being pushed a promotion or a discount or something, So that's been something that like we saw as like, hey, we can't do these things that we used to do. What can we do? And that was something that was like just right in front of us.
Yeah. Sounds like you love your job. It's awesome. It really is.
It's great, man.
It's awesome.
It is. It's super cool.
Yeah. No, that's great. I don't think as many people can say that as
what was that story?
Hope.
So the Vortex complex is like right on the border of how much public land?
Yeah, there's like 2 acres of public over there. It's not real big.
Oh, is that how small?
No,
it is? Okay.
I'm kidding. It's we always kind of tongue in cheek say like, oh, no one can ever find out about this public land that's right here by Vortex, but people know about it. It's not a secret. So we're right on the we border about like 3,200 acres of nature conservancy land. It's mostly like open prairie. We actually heard a quail out there a couple of years ago, so it's really cool. Cool habitat. You don't get bobwhite quail in the Midwest very often, or in our area of the upper Midwest very often. But anyway, so it's really cool. Like it's on 3,200 acres. We've killed turkeys out there, killed a couple deer out there. It's an awesome spot.
Can you tell the story of like that you told John and I of like the artillery going back and forth?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. So
you guys were watching,
man. So every state that has like a deep-rooted hunting tradition, like has these crazy gun deer season stories, right? Like if deer hunting runs deep in your state, gun season is wild.
Oh yeah,
and Wisconsin is definitely like one of those places, and. So anyways, it was like probably the Monday or Tuesday of our gun season. Our gun season starts the Saturday before Thanksgiving and ends the Sunday after. So it would have been like that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday because there were people in the office. So like we weren't, off for Thanksgiving yet or anything. And these guys came in around like 11 o'clock. They were doing this drive. And it's all big like rolling CRP. And I mean, this is at like middle of the day. Like we're in meetings. We have big windows that look out into the, the nature conservancy. And it was like right around the time where people like were in between stuff, like walking past like these windows. And we see this group. We're just like sitting there watching them. All of a sudden they jump up this buck, like a nice buck. And it goes tearing across that wide open CRP. And there's like a guy here and there's a guy here. The deer's running like this. This guy's shooting. That guy's shooting. They're hitting the deer. The deer finally goes down. They shoot. They get up to the deer. Must have still been alive. They shoot it again. They stand over it. And like just kind of everyone's like taking their hat off going, oh my God. Like one of those
checking
kind of
themselves,
things.
For holes.
Yeah. Where's my hit? And anyways, long story short, they tag the deer, and they walk into HQ. They literally propped their guns up like outside on the like edge of the building. Walked in, bought some hats, bought some T-shirts. We're telling hunting stories. I mean, it was like a commercial for Wisconsin. We should have sold those. We should have sold those guys a couple scopes based on the way they were shooting, because like whatever was going on there was pretty wild.
How many shots do you think were fired?
Oh my God, easily like 9-10 shots. Like it was
at each other. That's great.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Jesus, that's funny.
So last year, to put it lightly, was not a good hunting year for Wisconsin as far as we could tell. Did it get any? It was in October. I don't remember what time frame it was. Must have been.
Were you
that was.
I think it was September, wasn't it?
Was it September?
It was, yeah. It would have been. So we opened like September. I'm just looking at the calendar here. Last year we opened September.
Right in the middle, right?
14th. Yeah. And I think you guys got here
right we got back
the 14th or the 15th. And man, that first week of the season, it was like 90 degrees every day.
It was hot.
It was super hot. And obviously that didn't help. But honestly, like I have been talking to John about doing this trip for a long time. And, like I've actually I've from a strategy standpoint, I've really liked those opening weeks when it's super hot because it keeps people out of the woods. And the deer are still on their summer patterns. I mean, those deer behind me, the collection of 2 and 3 year olds have, a lot of those deer have come the first week of September, or for the first week of our season. So I've had great luck, and I've had better luck when it's super hot. But for whatever reason last year, and there's stuff going on in our state with deer numbers. They're kind of like doing this right now. I think they're actually a little bit on the downturn. But we could not get on deer to save our life. I legitimately think that fawn that I saw on the first day that we hunted was the only deer that we saw. Hunting pressure was a little bit more like higher than normal.
Yeah, I remember there was one parking lot we went to that was full.
Yeah, and in the southwest part of the state, actually, like hindsight, kind of looking back on that week, this is something that stands out. Like we had gypsy moths, spongy moths. We had a terrible outbreak of spongy moths the last 2 years, and last year was the second of like this, double year, like back to back, just like decimation on oak trees.
Yeah.
So none of the oaks generated acorns.
Yep.
And that is really the only thing that I can point my finger on is like something that was like a super tangible change. Because man, I could not get. I had when we planned this trip, Matt. Like I put out. I think I had like 8 or 9 cell cams out across like 4 different counties. I'm like, we're gonna kill 2 or 3 bucks in this week, like no doubt, Mm-hmm. And I was like,
well, you see one deer. Holy
dude, I couldn't buy a buck on camera.
I can't remember. I remember what it looked like. I don't remember how it fit geographically, but that one field that you had really good footage from, like the year before that or 2 years prior, of those like rutting bucks hitting scrapes, running does back and forth, and then we hunted that same field and there was nothing. There was like ran a camera there. There was like one little scrape we found in kind of the thick stuff, but
so did it get better after they left or no?
It didn't get worse because it couldn't get worse. But it last year was a tough year.
Okay.
Like I would just say, like in general, like people that I talked to, like in my circle, like struggled more than they usually do. I would say in general, like just that circle, like our age class of bucks that my buddies and I are typically killing was, down a little bit. And we are the county that we hunted in, Iowa County. Like we are the epicenter of CWD in the United States. Literally like 25%, like positive rate on buck or on deer in general. You shoot a buck, multiply that by 50%, and now if that buck is 3 years or older, like your odds are even higher.
How many have you shot? Haven't you shot?
I've shot
multiple.
Yeah,
have tested.
I've shot 4 bucks that have tested positive for CWD. And the crazy part is, like, of those 4 bucks, the first one that I shot here, I never tested. I'm like, that was when I was working at the DNR, and I was learning all this stuff about, like, deer management, whatever, and, like, my buddies at the department were kind of, like, crucifying me for not testing that deer. Killed that deer in Richland County, which at that time, like, wasn't really experiencing, like an outbreak. So I felt fine about it, and people do their own thing with that, right? Then the next year I killed a buck in another county that was like historically not a CWD county. And I mean, it was this beautiful, like 3-year-old 8-pointer, like fat, just like the deer looked great, like prime of its life, right? Tested positive. Then the next year I killed another one, same type of deal. I actually killed that one like 80 yards from where I killed that one the year before in September. That was that field, Matt, that we went, that I was telling you guys about. That one tested positive. So I've killed a handful, but yeah, I mean, it, like in general, like it definitely, the rest of the year people struggled. I killed one on October 26th, which was like a beautiful, like late October cold front.
Yeah.
And I had a replacement tag from another buck that I'd killed the year before that also had CWD. So how that works is if you kill a buck with CWD, they issue you a replacement tag. That replacement tag is good for either weapon for the remaining of that calendar year and the following. Oh, so wow. I took that replacement tag then into 2024. And after I killed on October 26th, then I think on November 6th, I killed a nice 3-year-old 8-pointer on a super cool hunt off the ground. I mean, it definitely wasn't a big deer. It kind of like, it was one of those deals where like the story on that, just I'll give you the elevator like cliff notes real quick. Like I hunted, I was set up to hunt all day, like in this pinch point in between two big fields, and I didn't see anything in there, you know. And at like noon, I'm like, man, if I haven't seen anything by noon on November 6th, like I gotta at least change scenery here a little bit. So I got down, drove over to a different piece of public, and I had confidence in the place that I hunted that morning. That actually was last year was the first year my wife and I got a lease. It was it's nothing crazy. It's a 20-acre chunk that is basically timber that connects like, you know, Big Creek bottom, right? And so I had confidence in getting back there in the afternoon, but I'm like, man, I need to get out of here for a change in the midday hours. So walked into this piece, big CRP property, walked in, and this doe came like just cruising out of the standing cornfield, and she looked like she was getting chased. So I ran up as fast as I could to get where she was, and got set up, knocked an arrow, and I'm like, you know, breathing like crazy because I just ran up this hill. I'm like trying to like hear, you know, and like your heart's thumping out of your chest, and I'm trying to control my breathing so I can like hear my surroundings, and I can just hear grunts coming out of this cornfield. And so I draw real quick, and I'm already at full draw, and this buck pops out, and he's like right there at like 10 yards, kind of quartering towards me. And I think he saw me because like I wasn't hid very well. And I'm like, oh, he's going to bolt me. Like he saw me and kind of squared up and like took 2 more steps, and I'm like, you're done. And I shot him like super hard, quartering to, actually just dropped him in his tracks. It was a wild hunt, but it was just one of those things of like during the rut, it can just change on a dime, you know. So it was a fun hunt, you know, and so lucky killed 2 nice bucks last year. But in general, like it was a tough year in Wisconsin.
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously we were hunting in mid-September, so it wasn't like deer were going to be running around chasing, grunting and stuff. But yeah, I remember you saying that just the deer numbers in general seemed like we were just riding around places that you typically would see, at least those out in fields and stuff like that. We just weren't seeing much of anything, So
would you say that like your main, I know you've done some other really cool hunts and been to some cool places. Would you say that your main thing is like Wisconsin public land?
Definitely. Yeah? Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it like if someone said you can do one thing for the rest of your life, it would honestly, my biggest like hunting goal would be to start hunting more up in northern Wisconsin. Okay. Where, you know, it's a deer density that's way lower than what we've got down here. But my dream would be to kill a real big one up in like the, you know, the no deer area, quote unquote. Yeah. I think that would just be like the coolest thing.
How far is that for you to get up to that stuff?
It's like 3.5, 4 hours.
Okay. But
probably closer to 4.
Yeah.
My parents are actually building a house up there. They live up there now. And so I've got a little like ulterior motive to really get up there and kind of, you know, but it's also the area that I've grown up deer hunting. Like as a kid, like my dad, you know, that's where he started gun hunting, you know, when he was 16. He's been going up there for forever. And I've killed a spiker up there that I killed when I was 12, my first year ever with a gun. And then it's funny, in 2015, when I was working at Midwest Whitetail, I killed a little 4-pointer up there. And that was when I was working at Midwest Whitetail. So I'm like surrounded by like big giant deer all the time. And I killed this like 4-pointer. And this, honestly, this would have been, it would have been 2016. It would have been November of 2016. And this was the moment I knew I had to leave Midwest Whitetail. I killed this buck. And I killed it in a county that I think there were like 100 bucks killed that year in that county. Like not many deer, you know. And I killed this thing, and I didn't even take a picture with it because I was like, it's so insignificant because it's a small deer.
Yeah.
And like literally on my drive back to Iowa then that Monday, I'm like, I didn't take a picture with that deer because I didn't like, I thought I didn't care about it. It wasn't like a big deal to me, you know? And, but in reality now it's like, I can't believe I actually, like, here I am now in 2025. I haven't killed a deer up there since.
Yeah.
And that was 10 years ago. So like, that's how big of a deal that deer was. But because I was so like, you know, I'll use the term like air quotes brainwashed by the industry to like think that that wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
I didn't take a picture with that deer.
Yeah.
Like that's the opposite of the person I want to be, you know?
I hear you.
And that was literally the moment that I'm like, man, I got to get out of this.
What is, are you starting to get like obviously different habitat and forest types as you get up north? Is it more of that northern spruce fir type stuff and like poplar? Yeah. Okay.
Yep, cool. Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. It's exactly that. A lot of poplar shoots. They do a lot of. There's more timber management in the area that my parents are in. It's a state forest that the state can manage, so they actually do some cutting in there. Some of the national forest stuff that's up there is more old growth timber that, you know, density is even lower.
Is there like a Lake Superior National Forest up there or something like that?
Yeah, we're so I mean the region I'm talking about is the Northern Highland American Legion State Forest in Vilas County, Oneida County, right on the border of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And I mean it like that's why I'm not afraid to call it the exact spot. It is hard hunting.
So it's like the UP.
Oh, yeah. Yep. It is tough. And the majority of people that hunt up there, you know, they're going up there because that's where they grew up hunting as a kid or whatever.
Right.
Like people, but I know because I mean, everyone's got connections in like other areas, right? And like you kind of get to know people that are pretty serious about stuff. So anyways, a buddy of mine that still works at the department, he's a deer biologist actually in Oneida County. And so super credible guy, knows his stuff, and his coworker's husband, he showed me a picture of this buck that he killed up there. And this guy, like, he knows his stuff, right? And I mean, this deer is like an absolute slammer. Like if I could kill something like this up there, it would be the epitome of my like deer hunting.
There you go.
You know, for sure. So anyways, like Brett, to your question, like is Wisconsin public land, like is that my thing that I would like kind of identify as? Absolutely. And I would in the next over the next 5 to 10 years, that's where it's really gonna be
cool.
At up there.
I like it. Sounds not too dissimilar from some of the stuff we hunt up here, honestly.
Yeah.
So that's neat. I see you got some tree stands in the background. What is your style and setup typically for that?
Yeah, so the tree stands that I got in the back here, I do some freelance stuff, and I'm working on a piece right now for bowhunting.com, best tree stands under $300.
Okay, gotcha.
So I freelance for like Outdoor Life, bowhunting.com, a couple other, you know, pubs. That's what the tree stands are. What I'm actually taking with me usually is a saddle platform. So I run the Timber Ninja Black Belt Ultimate, which was their new one that they came out with a year ago.
Okay.
And I absolutely love that thing. It is, again, back to like the freelancing stuff. I tested like 15 saddles in 2023, one of the two. And that Timber Ninja, that brand itself, the Nano and the Black Belt Ultimate are both awesome products, but that Black Belt Ultimate is like hands down my favorite saddle. So I run that. I really like the 2-panel design on that, and it's also still lightweight. You know, some of those 2 panels can get a little bit bulkier and heavier. That one retains a pretty sleek profile.
Yeah.
And then from a stick standpoint, I run 3 of the Lone Wolf Custom Gear micro doubles. They're tiny.
Yeah.
Like they're like 12 inches long, and they're like 4 of them stacked to the same thickness of your cell phone. Like there's literally nothing. So I bring 3 of those with all 3 of them have aiders.
Okay.
And then I've got their the Lone Wolf Custom Gear fixed platform. And I'll throw all that stuff. I say all that stuff. It's really not that much. But I bring that. I haul that around in like my Kafaru Striker pack.
Yep.
And that's my go-to. Like if I'm just like going into a place, that's what I've got. And I feel super confident that I can get into anything. So I'm curious. You're a great person to ask. I ask a lot of people this, but I've done this
obviously a fair amount of saddle stuff now, and I like it. And I've done a lot of light portable tree stand stuff too. Like, I think one that a lot of people talk about is custom gear, 0.5, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I can't really honestly definitively say I think I would say I have to lean towards the saddle now, honestly.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's like hands down there's no cons to, you know what I mean? There's definitely like strengths and weaknesses of each one. Mm-hmm.
Totally.
I'm still like leaving the door open for like the perfect thing, and I just don't know that. I don't know yet. So what's your thought on like a 0.5 or like any of the lighter stands that they're coming up with versus saddle? Like, what's your feeling on that? I mean, obviously you prefer the saddle, but what is like, can you give me some of the reasons?
Totally. So I own a 0.5 as well. And I mean, that stand is like a work of art, like I'm not just saying that cause like I own it and I like it, but like that stand is truly purpose built. It's incredible. And when you really look at the machining on that thing, like it is freaking phenomenal. That stand is about as bad as they get. Anyways, to me, it all boils down to your transportation method. If you're throwing it in a backpack, don't run the 0.5 because you're kind of you're killing the essence of like what the 0.5 is. Like the 0.5, what makes it so cool is it will double serve as your backpack, right? Yep. So like if you run like a lightweight fanny pack or something, or like, some of the Lone Wolf packs that they make that like accommodate onto the stand, then that's where the 0.5 is like dialed, but for me as someone that like, if I shoot something on a piece of public, the deer's not coming out whole. Yep. So for me, I'm not like, it's really hard for me to, commit to the 0.5 when I know I just have to make it back to the truck. Now grab the backpack that I left at the truck, leave the stand at the truck, go back, cut up the deer. So that's why is why I gravitate to the saddle, is solely for the processing and like getting the deer out of the field. Okay. But like what I really do like about the 0.5 is, people say that like, I can get into any tree in my saddle, and like I think by and large, people are accurate in saying that, but like there are trees that like, especially if you get into like some of these big like white oaks that have like a lot of limbs that we have here in the Midwest that come out, I don't want to be in a saddle in those. Like I'd much rather be in the 0.5. I'd tuck in between a couple limbs. I'd face right at what I want to shoot because I'm not worried about them picking me off. Yeah. If I'm in a white oak, even if I'm only like 12, 15 feet up and I've got all this like cover behind me and in front of me, I'm going to face right at what I want to shoot. To me, there is something about being in a tree stand that just is like deer zen, like you're kind of like, it's just different, like being in a tree stand is different. And, that is what I do really like about that. But, a couple of years ago, actually 23, I killed my buck out of the 0.5. And that was in a spot where, like we're talking about, it was a really limb heavy tree, and if I would have cut limbs out of it, one, you technically can't on public. Yeah. Two, if I would have done it, I would have been up there with no cover. It was like a cluster of three, what were they? I think they were mulberry trees. Like they were like just gnarly, like limbs all over the place, and I was maybe like 15 feet off the ground. And if I would have cut limbs off that, I would have been like totally backlit, or just skylined. And so I brought in the 0.5 and I faced right at what I was expecting to shoot. And long story short, this buck popped out it was a super open property. I mean, you could see I rattled this buck in from 600 yards, which was bizarre. And I saw him, he popped out, I grunted at him. He wanted nothing to do with it. He kind of kept cruising on by. And then when he popped out again, and the neighbors, like he was 2 properties away at this point. And I'm like, I'm screwed. I'm going to give him everything I got on the antlers. And I started smashing these antlers together as hard as I could. And he stops, and I'm just like continuing to go at him for probably like a solid minute. And finally I'm like, whatever, that's going to be it. So I stop rattling and I'm watching him. And again, he is legitimately 600 yards, just staring right kind of my way. And I'm totally, at this point, I actually take my phone out because I wanted to film him to like send my dad, like, hey, saw a giant today. Look what got away. As I'm filming that thing through my phone, he flicks his tail, turns 180, and starts running at me. That deer did not stop running until he was 67 yards away, and that's when I shot him.
Jeez.
So it was
wild.
Anyways, that is a scenario where I would not have killed that deer with a saddle. So like anything, they're a tool, and I think like the best carpenters in the world have a lot of tools in their toolkit to do any job.
Yep.
Same thing. Best deer hunters, you better not be a one-trick pony. You know?
I'm just like the thing that I keep wrestling with is, first off, you're getting pretty damn close with the weight of like a wash. Like when you put the saddle, tethers, and the platform versus like a 0.5. Then there's probably some out there. Actually, I think there's a couple other new ones that are pretty similar, but whatever. It doesn't matter. We'll call it ultra lightweight or whatever. Stand. The only thing that I'm struggling with, and I do something that maybe people may not like when I hunt out of the 0.5, but I think the safety harness aspect of like having to wear that with a 0.5 actually puts it like kind of makes it lose to the saddle, because you have to kind of put that anywhere. So what I did, and it's worked for me, I don't know, people are probably going to bitch. I'm going to say that it's relatively safe because we're always with somebody else. But I actually just wear like a climbing rope as like a belt, and I tie it to the tree. And I lean on it almost like a saddle, right? So there's tension, and I can't really fall because all I'm going to do, just like in the saddle, you're just going to go towards a tree.
Right.
And so I put it around my waist, and if I fall, it would go up around my chest. And I've actually jumped out of the tree with it just to see. Not from high, but from like a couple feet. And like it doesn't feel good at all. But like but it's not like I'm like, okay, that kind of hurts a little bit, but like it definitely stops you from falling. And so that's kind of how I've got in my mind of like made that lightweight tree stand compete with the saddle. But it's so close. And I think if you put the safety harness, like if I had to wear a full safety harness, I don't think I'd ever hunt out of that. Well, not ever. Like you said, there's always situations, but I think I'd be going to the saddle even more. So it's like in some of these saddle platforms and sticks, and they're just so lightweight too now. Man, it's like, I wish there was the perfect, it's almost like they need like a big lightweight platform that has some sort of seat that's like no extra weight and it's not a pain in the ass. And then like an ultra like minimalist waist belt / saddle, maybe like a couple really small straps. Like it's not meant to be sitting in all day long, but like it's, you know what I mean? Like
I know exactly what you mean.
Just gonna dial in so it's the best of everything. Like, I don't know.
Dude, and the reason I'm like nodding my head like a lunatic is like I truly do think that this product that we're talking about there's an opportunity here for a brand to take this and like actually make something pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Black Diamond. So I like when I'm looking at exactly what we're talking about right now, I start looking outside of the hunting industry, and I start looking into the rock climbing industry.
Yep.
Black Diamond makes a rock climbing harness, and it just goes around your waist. And unlike the saddle where all your attachment points are in the front, there's like just one loop that would be like right at the base of your like lower back and your tailbone, and that would be the point where like you would have like a rope or something that goes around the tree.
Yep.
You could, if you wanted to get really crazy light, you could go with like a Dyneema rope and like figure out a way to, have like a knot, like a Prusik knot or something that like tensions it to the tree and clip in that way. So I don't own that thing yet. It's been in my cart on Amazon like 19 times, but it's something that I will have this year. And like, I really do think, to your point, that is the piece that tips the scales towards the 0.5. The other thing that I think about a lot in the early season with the 0.5 is if you don't bring a backpack, if you're just going to say, okay, I'm going to accept the fact that if I kill something, I'm going back to the truck, grabbing a frame pack and coming out, right? And you bring in a tree stand, then what you're doing is you have that platform on your back. So like picture a backpack. When you have that backpack on your back and it's 90 degrees outside, you have solid fabric from like your shoulder blades down to your tailbone, and you're just going to sweat out like crazy. Now, on the flip side, if you put a 0.5 on your back
you have that
with
space
no back, exactly,
100%.
you have space and breathability, and that's going to prevent you from sweating, like all the things.
Furthermore, to that point, we've been running last year with my saddle setup. I ran, what's that pack called? It's a trophy line pack. Oh, but it's like the waist pack, but it's got the straps. In that thing, there's nothing on from like right here down to like your butt. So like your whole back is open for air. And like, I feel like when you're like going in or like hiking, one of the worst places sweats is your lower back. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like it just gets soaked.
Yeah.
And that is complete. There's nothing on it. And that's really nice. So like, there's a lot of stuff that I feel like could get dialed in here. The other thing with this, so the one you're talking about, it has leg straps, I assume?
It does. It has, two leg straps on the front end.
What if they made one, right, similar to that, like we're talking, super lightweight, you could, and it had I don't know some engineer can figure this out potentially, but basically a loop or a ring, right, that you could attach to that somehow could go 360 around you so you could turn with it, because that's a thing that the waistband I can turn in it really easily. Yeah. And I can like move and turn towards the tree. I can put it from like my belly button towards the tree and lean back on it. I can turn the other way. So it's really like versatile, and you can move like really smoothly on deer. But if they could figure that out, you could stand on the platform like you stand on a tree stand, and then you could decide, well, I'm going to face the tree. You could do it all. And I'm like, man, if they could figure that out, and pair it with, like I said, even when you have that, you don't even need. I mean, the 0.5 or something similar like that, or even a little bit smaller, is fine. Then maybe they get like the last thing's that seat. I think having a seat is nice. Just particularly if you're hunting long hours. Not like I want to sit there the whole time, but like just to sit down.
Just for a little
absolutely.
bit.
Yeah. So I still think the perfect one is out there somewhere. The perfect setup.
I know.
But.
Yeah, I totally agree. I could not agree more with that. I mean, that's something I think about a ton.
One thing I don't like about the saddle is there's more components to it. It's a little more going on. Not a lot, but a little more.
You start getting like the side bags and all these.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's like I said, we're talking like marginally better and different. Right?
Oh yeah.
So
for sure,
we're talking ounces and seconds and like little like. So we're kind of splitting hairs, but I do feel like there's something. I was just curious to see what, like I said, your take on it was and what you were running.
Yeah, you're spot on though, but you know, like someone listening might think like, man, these guys are literally splitting hairs, but that is what like that can be the difference. A lot of times it is, you know.
For sure.
So that's and it's cool. Like we're at a really cool point in the industry where like, you know, the products that come out every year. It's like, how do these things get better? And they just somehow like continue to incrementally like get better. It is going to be interesting to just kind of like see. It's a great time. There's never been a better time to be like into mobile hunting because the industry is focused on it right now, and they're putting their resources, their engineering resources on it. And like, we'll see something, I'm sure, you know, in these next 5 years. It's just like, that's it, you know,
they need to figure it out. Oh, Matt's trying to show me something. You know what does crack me up though?
Have you seen these?
Yeah, I didn't look much at it. How much do they weigh? I'm looking at this one. It's the Novix hybrid hang-on tree stand. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah.
It looks tiny.
Huh. Yeah.
It's got cables in the middle is interesting.
Cables in the middle. Like, ooh, I don't like that at all.
Because that's
like where your feet go. I don't know about that design.
Well,
so that's it works. I've never tried it, so.
Well, for people who can't see,
it's 8 pounds. That's out.
Is it that much?
It's
okay. But anyway, so,
not for 8 pounds.
We can put a picture of it.
That's not heavy, but this is the other thing with this mobile thing that I think is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Some of these companies that like, I'm not trying to like put any companies down, but I understand what they're trying to do. but they put out a stand and they're like, oh, it's super light, ultralight, our mobile, and it's like 10 pounds. And I'm like,
totally,
dude, 15 years ago that was mobile light. Like there's 5-pound tree stands. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Like you're kind of missing it. Like that's like
100%. I know.
I'm like,
I mean,
what?
yeah. There, I think it is Lone Wolf Custom Gear that makes a Ranger hybrid as well.
Yeah.
And the biggest difference that I saw real quick between that and the Novix there when you had that picture up was it has no cables on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But even still, that one weighs in at like 6.5 pounds.
Yeah.
And the 0.5 is a pound less than that.
Right.
So it's like I'm not going to go to something that's smaller and heavier when I could go to something that's bigger and lighter.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's expensive.
Have you got your hands on any of that Magnite material?
I have, yeah.
Have you
it's crazy.
Have you messed with like the trophy line sticks?
Yeah, I did a thing on the sticks a year ago.
I don't think carbon fiber is a bad idea, but I think there's some inherent issues with that. A couple different ones. I think that could potentially. I don't know. I think they're good. I actually think they're great, but I think there's just. I think that this Magnite material is probably better, in my opinion, of course.
Yeah.
Because it's about the same weight, and I think that the durability is a lot better. But man, I think that's the material that whoever makes this thing should be out of that. I feel like you just want to grab like these features from like all these different things, like put them together in one. It's like, you guys nailed that. You guys nailed that. You guys have the material.
Yeah.
It's like,
what is
somebody do it.
What is like the weight limit with those trophy line sticks, the hyperlight stuff? Do you know?
Probably 300 pounds. I don't know.
Probably
3. What is, you probably know, Eric. Would you know what like the standard weight limit is for most of this stuff? Is it like 300 pounds?
Yeah, it's usually 350. I know specifically like Lone Wolf, like on those crazy micro doubles, like they advertise either 3 or 350. And I'm just speaking to them because I know their manufacturing or their like testing process. Like they've tested that thing over like, I want to say like 780 pounds to like any time, and like even a bend or like more or less failure. So yeah, like even as the stuff gets so tiny, like it still maintains some like crazy strength.
Yeah, I don't think many 400-pound guys are getting up on a saddle anyway, but
no,
that's true.
But
that's true.
Thinking about the cable thing with like the 0.5s, that's just, I think that is a hang up with some people, that you just have that little bit of restriction on the outside, especially with people with bigger feet. You know, or if it's colder, and you're wearing boots.
There are a few things about the 0.5 that I think could be better, personally. I think it's a great stand. I have one.
Yeah.
I found out a lot. I think there's a few things that I think could be. One of the things that I don't like is the connection point. Actually, to be honest with you, top and bottom to the tree, I think those both their cleat on the top, I think, could be better. And I think even on the bottom, I think that the connection point is too narrow. And I don't know if you've experienced it, but it's like could rock like almost like side to side on the tree a little bit. Like it can come off and it doesn't dig on the bottom very well. And I got like one of the first ones, so maybe different now. So if it is, forgive me. But that's one of the things. They have a bigger seat now. I mean, they've taken care of a lot, but there's a couple things like I think they could. The shape of the platform, I think, could be a little different too, kind of from my perspective. But it's a good stand and it's super light. I remember when I got that thing, I was like, "This thing's crazy."
Oh, like, totally. Yeah, crazy. If anyone ever gets a chance to go to the Mobile Hunter Roadshow that Cody puts on, those are the coolest events. Like, we've all been to like a lot of different like deer events and shows and stuff like that. But man, Cody is like. That guy is wired differently. Watching him like climb a tree or like explain how to hang stands, like basic stuff that like no one really talks about. It's like every year I watch him like explain something, I learn something new. Like one thing I was explaining how like this is when I was bringing in 4 sticks, and he was kind of like poking fun. He's like, "Why are you bringing 4 sticks? Like you don't need that." He's like, I bet you I can get as high as you with 4. They're as high as you get with 4 with 2 sticks. And he like showed me this way on how he connects the sticks to the tree, where basically what he's doing is he's standing there at the tree. He hangs the stick so the bottom step is at like head height, and then he grabs it like a monkey bars basically. Yeah, and then he like puts his foot on the tree, does like a pull up, and then gets into the aider with your left foot, and you pull, and then like you've got your lineman's rope around you, so you can then like put that up higher. Now you're in the stick. By the time you get on the top of that first stick, you're like 7-8 feet off the ground. So like that dude is going in there with like 2 sticks with aiders, you know, and he's getting like 12, 15 feet up, and it's nuts. But a lot of times he's even lower. Most times he's lower than that, which is crazy. So anyways,
dark.
Yeah, I know. I'd be a little sketched out.
Because like that's one thing I've noticed with all this stuff. Like even aiders, like in the dark, you know, like. Sometimes it's like, oh shit! I thought I was, you know, like you can't. Yeah. I'm all for that stuff. If you guys get into the one sticking stuff too, like that stuff's.
That's something that for me, I don't know that I'll ever get into the one sticking thing. Aiders, I agree. Like aiders are kind of sketchy to me. I really like cable aiders because they retain their like.
Yeah.
So like they poke out of the tree and you can like find them.
Right.
But someone needs
to... But those suck because you can't fold them up the same in your pack, and they kind of like stick out. So, yeah, I know.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, man, on the gear side. I could go down a rabbit hole on that. That is why I've got a million tree stands in the back, and I've got a fish scale over there that I've been weighing and a measuring tape that
I think you've done a fair amount of this. How accurate are some of these weights that they advertise? Do you talk about that in any of these or not?
They're in the ballpark.
Okay.
But there has been some that have been like significantly off.
Really?
And it's like I won't like name any like specific names, but there's been but I have put that in articles that I've written. Yeah. Like I don't say like I'll say like advertised weight is this.
Yeah.
Tested weight was this. Yeah. Like observed weight was this. Yeah. So that's out there. Like if you look at some of the Outdoor Life gear reviews, like that's out there. But yeah, some have been off. Some have been like spot on. Some have been lighter, you know? So it's like,
that's wild.
Yeah, it goes any number of ways.
Pretty interesting. You have anything on your list before I start asking them other weird stuff?
You were talking about fish scales. That made me think of all that Alaskan fish you had in your freezer.
Oh my God.
And I just watched that video earlier today.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it was cool. Was that last year that trip happened, or was that 2 years ago?
That was last year. Yeah.
How much fish did you catch? Because you had like a whole freezer full.
Was it halibut?
Shipped back.
Halibut? Yeah, mostly halibut. We had some black rockfish in there. We were there like the week before you could keep lingcod, so we didn't have any lings.
Yeah.
But man, we had how many people did we have fishing? I think we had 7 people, and I think we caught 780 pounds of fish, and we shipped it all back.
Wow, dude.
So like each person had 120 some pounds of fish.
Yeah. Well, it's like the days were 20 hours long or something, so it's just like fish all day and then hop on a boat.
It was
go.
Dude, it was the coolest thing in the world. It was so cool. Like, so that would have been June of 2024. Yeah, June of last year that I did that trip.
Oh, that was
and what we did, we went up to, we boated out of Homer, Alaska, with a crew called Outfit Alaska. And these guys are phenomenal. Like, if someone's like shameless plug, if someone's looking for an awesome way to like experience Alaska, that's it. Like I've been super lucky to do it twice. I went in 2022. We took a float plane into Kodiak, landed in the ocean, and hiked up into the Alpine from sea level. That was insane for like its own things, right? But like you're seeing a snapshot, like you're just seeing like where your tent is, like where the plane was, and everything in between. Like, and that's really freaking cool, right? But the boat thing, when you boat in, you cover so much ground. We saw glaciers. We saw I saw a brown bear my first night out. Mm-hmm. It was literally a trip of a lifetime. And like a bear hunt for me was something that I was always kind of like, yeah, like I don't have anything against it at all. Like I want to, like in Wisconsin, it just takes forever to get a bear tag. So I've always kind of been like, for me, bear is always going to be like Idaho, Montana spring bear hunts where I can like buy a tag for $300, drive 14 hours and be bear hunting. Right.
Yeah.
Never expected to bear hunt in Alaska. And it was like the coolest thing. We saw a lot of bears. I actually missed a absolute mega on the beach.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was a rough deal. So like, if for anyone that's like unfamiliar, a lot of these boat-based bear hunts, guys are killing bears on the beach, you know. And when I say beach, like it's literally like sandy beaches that come out of like this stuff that like you look at and you're like, a human cannot actually scale these like inclines. And that's what the bears are coming out of. And the second night that we hunted, we went into this crazy spot. And when I say crazy, like there was a glacier. There was like this big rim of like these mountains that came around. It was just beautiful. And we saw a brown bear was the first bear that we saw. This thing popped out and it's kind of walking on the beach at 400 yards. They weren't really supposed to be in that area, so we were kind of like surprised by it. And right after that, I had stood up and I like turned around. I was going to go pee on the backside of this log and like just kind of look into this bay. And when I stood up to go take a pee, I like turned around, like crap, there's a bear right there. And there's just this like giant boar out on the beach, right? Like we should be shooting right now. Like he's literally like in the perfect spot. So I, right away told the camera guy that was with me, we both had to do a 180, get turned around and set up on this thing. And now he starts moving, like he's starting to pop up into the trees and come back out onto the beach. And things are happening fast.
Yep.
And, he was 300 yards, which I was comfortable all day at that distance. I mean, the gun I had was an absolute tack driver. I have these shooting sticks in that video. If anyone watches it, it's on the Vortex Nation YouTube channel. You can watch me just fall apart. I take my gun and I go to it's terrible. I take my gun and I go on these shooting sticks, and I've since literally thrown these things away, but they form a Y like all shooting sticks do, but then they've got this like piece of like bungee material, and my gun hits that and it just like bounces right off. So then I'm frazzled. I get back on him. I get steady, and I'm just like, I literally just like, I rushed it. I shot just left. I almost like domed him. I'm like this far from hitting him right in the head. You can see the bullet trace go right past him.
Yeah.
And anyways, we get back to the boat that night. Told everyone that we missed a huge boar. And, it's like, the guys from Wisconsin that don't see like big bears, which we have huge bears in Wisconsin. We have 500-pound bears up in the northern part of the state that people kill every year. But I'm not a bear like aficionado. So people heard I missed a big bear. They're probably thinking I missed like a 200-pound boar, like 150-pound boar. Everyone overestimates bears. Like it's the thing that everyone thinks, it's a giant. And then they walk up on a 125-pound sow, So I'm sure people were kind of a little skeptical when the Wisconsin guy that's never had a bear tag before is saying he missed a huge boar. We pull up the footage, play it on the laptop, and the guy that was kind of running the outfit looks at me and he's like, "You're a deer hunter, right?" I'm like, "Yep." He's like, "How many 180-inch bucks have you missed?" And I'm like, "One." and he's like, "Well, you missed another one tonight." And basically like to give it in like a thing that I could, relate to. And I mean, that thing he was a mega. But anyways, to kind of wrap a bow on that, then the next day, it ended up being a blessing that I missed that thing, because like I killed a smaller bear the next day, probably like, 200-pound sow, good bear, right? Like nothing, a bear that I would have shot on the first day, for being someone that never killed a bear. But what was really cool is we hiked into this like backwater bay. This was like a morning type deal. And again, Matt, to your point, like it's light for 22 hours up there. So like we hiked in there in the morning, and we're glassing up into this like alpine, and we're seeing bears like just dotted up in this stuff. Like there are 3 or 4 bears, and we're looking for one down on the beach, and we're striking out, can't find one on the beach, and finally we're like, screw it, let's go make a run at those things. Like we got all day.
How far were they?
Straight line distance, they were probably 1,800 yards.
Oh, okay.
But we had to get up into like, I think we climbed. Let me look at Onyx here and see what we climbed in terms of elevation.
So it would take like an hour to get up to them or something like that?
Yeah, it took us 2 hours to get up to them. I want to say we climbed like 18 or 2,000 feet of elevation. It was yards? A dog, dude. It was a dog. It was just like straight up. And here, let me find it. We went 3 miles. It took us 4 hours a speed of 0.7 miles an hour, and we gained 1,700 feet of elevation.
Wow. Yep.
And so basically we did a mountain goat hunt, and I got to shoot a bear out of a mountain goat hunt, basically. It was the coolest thing. We got up there and like, we weren't ready for this. We were prepared to hunt like the beach, during the middle part of the day. So like we didn't bring, I think I brought a puffy jacket. Coop, my buddy who was with me filming, like he just had on like a Sitka lightweight hoodie and like nothing else. Cause it was hot down on, the beach. We get up into the Alpine and there's like clouds rolling over us. And it's freezing cold, and he's just like, so, dude, he was dying. And then these clouds rolled in, clouds finally rolled out. We start glassing up bears. And then this bear pops out at like 300 yards. Just beautiful, like, green landscape. And she's like eating flowers. There's butterflies. It was like something out of a movie,
Yeah.
And I'm on the pack and smack her on the first shot. She starts rolling down the hill. I shoot a lot.
Yeah, you do.
So I shot again, and I actually hit her on a dead run on the second shot, which was even more impressive than the first shot.
At 300?
And, yeah.
No shit.
And long story short, we get down there, and she was piled up at the bottom of the mountain. And, just these huge pine trees with like that old man's beard, I think they call it, which is like that, like, mossy stuff that hangs off. It was the coolest freaking experience ever, like skinning out that bear and then coming off the mountain. We get down to the beach. It was like a beautiful day that day. Like sun was out. Sun's never out in Alaska. Yeah. We're like walking into the beach and there's these big white caps rolling up on shore. That day is something I will never forget. That it was so freaking days, cool.
Yeah,
yep,
for anybody who hasn't watched that, go watch it. It's it's cool. It's gonna make
it was a ton of fun. Anyone that is like bear curious, Alaska curious, that is the place to do it. And the way to do it is by boat. Like it's so fun.
Did you eat those bears?
Yeah, so we were there after June 1st when you don't have to take meat out.
Okay.
Anything before June 1st, you have to take meat. But I wanted to. I wasn't gonna just like.
Do you know why that
it's a weird?
is?
I think it's a. I couldn't tell you like definitively why. I think it's something like. If I'm guessing here, I think they view bears as more of like how we view coyotes in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Like kill them. Obviously you need the right licenses and stuff. But I want to say the season doesn't even end. Like you can go in there in July, August, kill a bear, like if you have a license for it. I don't think like season dates. I just think they put like dates on when you do and don't need to take the meat. The other thing I would speculate is like after they're on the fish for a long time, I wonder if they ever hit a point where like they're just, they're not what you want.
Yeah. Anything but a fish that eats a fish, I do not want to eat.
Totally. Yeah.
Like when you're eating a piece of red meat and it tastes like fish, it's like you're like, whoa, what's this? Nope. This not for me.
We got lucky with this one. I honestly think this bear was just living in the Alpine.
Yeah.
I wonder how often that bear went down to, sea level. Who knows? Maybe we caught that thing on the one day that it was up in the Alpine, but that bear tasted good. We kept the hinds. and the back straps off it.
Yeah.
Shoulders were pretty shot up, so we didn't take much on shoulders.
True Sling and Rick fashion. Shoulder meets junk. Give it to the dogs.
Yeah, seriously. So we did back straps and the hinds, and I mean it was good. I would like. It's absolutely something that I would like do again.
Oh, I didn't want to eat it for the longest time, and then I started, and I've shot a couple now, and I mean, I would say other than having to cook it through,
yeah,
man, I say it rivals venison, honestly, and a lot of stuff.
Oh, totally.
Like I think if I was gonna like cook some ground meat, I would definitely take bear over venison personally.
Definitely,
which is like kind of like crazy to think about.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the gaminess or like the lack of gaminess that bear has. Like it I don't know what it is about it, but it's almost got like a sweeter, like mild, mild profile compared to venison that kind of has like a distinct venison thing about it, you know?
Yeah. I made a bunch of the last 2 bears. I make bear tallow too. And I cook with that all year, and it's like great stuff.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I think people sleep on black bears a lot of the time. And I get it. Like,
sure.
Don't get me wrong. I'd rather go hunt a big whitetail than a black bear, but like, I like hunting black bears.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's something that like I think we're gonna see. I think we're in the golden age of bear hunting, where like a lot of states out west like let people like go do this stuff over the counter. So I'm like, I'm trying to like realize this opportunity that we've got right now and like take advantage of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never spring bear hunted, and like I filmed the spring bear hunt in Idaho in 2018 when I worked my first year at Vortex. But I technically had a tag, but I've never owned a spring bear tag like for real, you know. It's something that I want to like start working into my spring more. I just love freaking hunting turkey so much that it's like it's so hard for me to,
Oh, I hear you.
Well, you can just keep shooting them.
That's true.
Yeah.
Just keep shooting them until the tags are gone.
Jeez. I know. Yeah, you can shoot a pile of them here. It's crazy.
What's the most you've killed in a year in Wisconsin?
It was either. Yeah, I think I killed. It was either 11 or 13 that I killed in 2017. I think it was 13. Because I killed. How Wisconsin works, and for people that are pissed at me listening to this right now, these were not 13 birds off Grandpa's farm, as 80 acres.
Right.
This was 13 birds off, like, I think I hunted like 8 different counties that year, something like that. If you draw a tag in Wisconsin, and then you can buy leftovers at a rate of 1 per day until they're gone. So like I drew like our first season A, killed a bird on that tag. I drew then I bought season C as a leftover. You can only buy one of those because they will sell out. But then like seasons 4, 5. So how does it? We do by letters. So A, C, D, E, F. I think I had 3 Ds, 3 D tags, like 4 E's and 4 F's. And but whatever it was, I like filled every tag. Like it just was like one of those years where like the ball bounced the right way. Like, and then I think, the next year I think I killed like 6, which is a great year, you know. But, like, it just wasn't 13, So, we've got a wild turkey.
I obviously have a lot, but is that population been pretty stable?
It has been. It's been awesome. I mean, knock on wood. Like, a year ago, we killed 50,000 birds, 52,000 birds in the state.
That's a lot.
Which is a pile of turkeys, and I actually never looked up at the numbers this year yet. But I remember going into this year, after I read those numbers from a year ago, I'm like, man, 50,000 birds, like we got to stop doing this. But like, for whatever reason, the state can sustain it. I don't know how long we can sustain that. Like I actually, as much as I love shooting a lot of turkeys, I would be supportive of like Wisconsin going to like a 3-bird limit or something like that. Because like
10 would be fine. 10 bird limit.
Yeah, 10 would be great. But yeah, I mean and like then I remember reading a stat sometime where like less than 2% of the hunting population in Wisconsin kills more than one bird.
Yeah.
But then it's like the people that do kill more than one bird,
yeah,
like
they kill them all.
They kill 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder. I don't know. I feel like turkey population thing is just. I don't think anybody really knows. I think there's a lot of factors, and like they're different everywhere.
Mm-hmm. I think
because,
so too.
Like, there's just so much going on, like
even on like a micro level.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's pretty complex. It seems like simple, but I don't think it is. I mean, I think our Well, did we look this up? The harvest numbers, right?
Yeah.
This was the worst year I've seen in New Hampshire.
Really?
That I can remember.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hunt as much as I usually do. Not that there wasn't turkeys. There was. I mean, we're on turkeys, but it just was a poor. It wasn't anything like it used to be, or it was like 5 years ago. And even last year was a little bit tougher, I feel like. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. We had a pretty good year last year when THP Dun Tame came up. It was,
yeah. Yeah, I've heard stories of that. I heard that was a pretty good year.
Yeah, a little greasy there at the end. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just weird. It's crazy you guys are killed. I mean, I actually don't think that you guys shooting that many is probably going to be the reason the population declines. It's probably going to be something else.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I
agree. I feel like you're safe to keep doing that. Obviously, this is what I bet if it does happen, you're going to see it start to go down. Take the foot off the gas and kill them, and it's going to still keep going down. And it's not going to be because of that. That's what I feel like is happening a lot. Not that it like doesn't contribute to it, but it seems like there's something else.
Totally
dives these
like
populations.
I know, like a state like Arkansas, like I think they kill like 8,000 birds in a year. I mean, it's less than 10,000. I know that. And like that state used to be, 20 years ago, they were killing them. Like Arkansas, just south of Missouri, the turkey state,
Yeah.
But like they were killing way more birds 20 years ago than they are now, and they've gotten so like conservative with it, rightfully so, conservative with their tags and all that. I think they moved season dates, if I'm not mistaken. But to your point, they're still like they're not killing that many birds, and the population still seems to be going down.
I
don't know what that is.
And I'm not just saying that people should just shoot at all the turkeys they can, and it doesn't make a difference. That's not what I'm saying. But I think there's something bigger at play there in a lot of these populations. It's regardless of what the harvest is going to be, they're going to kind of tend to trend in one direction or the other, I guess.
Yeah. I think habitat is so important, and that's where that's one thing that Wisconsin has going for it is like we've got a lot of public land, obviously, but we also have we're like PA, right? We're like we've got this state of like so many hunters.
Yeah.
Everyone that owns private rec ground owns it for hunting.
Yeah.
So they're managing it. And I'm not saying every single private acreage is managed correctly, right? I'm definitely acknowledging that like there's room for improvement. But I do think that the average landowner today is a lot smarter than the average landowner 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks to things like YouTube and like all the things out there, right? So I think that's something that helps in a state like Wisconsin for sure. Or like PA, is another good example of that. Like a lot of hunters, a lot of, a mix of private and public, but like the private land is managed. People want it.
Would so there's a pretty big, I know that there probably is. And you hear about pockets of Wisconsin. Would you say in general, like habitat improvement and land management's pretty popular in Wisconsin?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, definitely here. I would say statewide overall, but cool. Especially this like western part of the state. I mean, some of these counties, along the Mississippi are just like they're primo. And if it wasn't like, I still think some of the best deer hunting in the world is in this state. And pockets of it for sure.
Well, yeah, you hear about like Buffalo County, which I think is. I just hear about the land prices there.
Oh my gosh, it's like, insane.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Totally.
Is it just because of hunting they're like that?
It is. Yeah, I mean, and obviously it is like Buffalo County is in the Driftless area. The Driftless region basically runs from like, the western like upper third of the state down into the southwest corner, and then, a couple counties east off the river. And it's just this like, hilly, driftless region of like bluffs and river bluffs and, valleys, trout streams. I mean, there's Class A trout streams that run through this stuff. So it is beautiful land. But I like the value is inflated because of the deer for sure. Shit. And Buffalo County just has this like elitist, like if you're in there, like you are like this next tier.
Yeah, you're the guy.
What's like what's like the per acre range?
I don't know. What do they got? What's land going for? Like 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 an acre, something like that?
Easily. Yeah, easily.
For deer hunting land.
Yikes.
It's not even like it's prime. Well, some of it probably is prime tillable, but or like development. That's wild. I mean, that's probably. Wow. There are some counties in Ohio that land's going for insane prices as well, like 10,000 acre for like rec stuff. But yeah, that's got to be right up there with some of the top. Geez. So hey, question for you on the drift. What does that mean? The driftless. What's that come from? Driftless.
Oh, yeah. So driftless is the area. Gosh, I hope I don't butcher this right now. It's basically the area that when the glacier came through.
Yep.
It didn't affect this. So this landscape is unmanipulated by glaciers. Like it was void of glacier activity, versus like the eastern part of the state, northern part of the state, glacier rolls through there and it like manipulates and changes the landscape, literally on a scale of like smoothing stuff out or like making like prairie like potholes and stuff that. So essentially the driftless region, driftless means that the glacier did not drift through this, leaving it like unmanipulated. So you get these beautiful like bluffs and rolling landscape. It's super cool.
Yeah, there's a ton of people fishing there too, right?
For sure. Yeah, I've never been to like Southern Ohio, but like it reminds me of like what I've seen from Southern Ohio. Like it looks similar. It's like more when you get like a little bit further west of where I'm at, but like that's where it gets at like a bigger scale.
Yeah.
But even where I'm at, like there's some pretty gnarly stuff for sure.
That's cool. I want to get out there sometime, out to that country.
Definitely.
It's on the list,
you guys
right?
got to get out here.
It's on the list. The list is long, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I keep adding stuff. It's like freaking tough. What do you got planned for this fall? Anything good?
I'm a proud owner of a Wyoming elk tag.
Oh, nice.
What
season?
And so it's a general tag, so I can go out and I can hunt the archery season in September, and then I can come back in October with the rifle if I don't kill one. So I'm so pumped for that. Like that has been legitimately, I guess, 8 years. I had 8 points for the tag.
Yeah.
But it's been like a lifetime. I remember my dad bought me an 870 when I was in I was like 12 years old, and I remember like pretending to like shoot it prone off like a pillow, which was a make-believe backpack, and I imagined myself shooting an elk
with an 870.
yeah, right. Oh, I was convinced that 870 was the only gun I needed. Give me an 18-inch slug barrel and then the 28-inch birdshot barrel, and I'm good to go.
And you'll make sure it comes down empty.
Oh yeah, yep. So I've got that, and then I've got a Kansas archery tag this year.
Oh,
I'm,
nice!
Super pumped for.
Have you hunted Kansas before?
No, never have.
Oh shit! So you got a good fall plan then, huh?
Oh my gosh, this is like, I'm like just trying to soak in like every minute of it.
Do you have any idea of like, obviously don't tell me, but like what your plan is in Kansas?
Yeah, so I actually got a lease down there.
Oh, you did? Nice.
Yeah, yep. It's nothing crazy. It's 300 acres, and that sounds huge, right? But it's like, it is wide open. Yeah. Like there is a creek that runs through it, and there's a little bit of timber on it. But of that, like 300, I think it's 320 acres. Of that 320, man, 40 of it is like timber. So it's like it's wide open. And then I'm hunting with some buddies down there as well that own land in that area or that own land in that unit. And they have got some. They're giving me access to their land, which is insane. They shouldn't be. They're far too kind. And there are the bucks that they've got showing up are like, I'll send you some pictures.
Do they live there?
They don't. So it's my buddies Nate and Thomas Crick. They own the Identical Draw brand and YouTube channel.
Okay.
I've been good buddies with those guys since like they were like the first people I met on like the ambassador side when I started working at Vortex.
Okay.
And, anyways, now they own this spot in Kansas. They live in Nebraska. And they always, because it's 80 acres, they always can buy at least one landowner tag.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that's how they're able to hunt it every year. But then this year they both drew after neither one of them drawing a year ago. So then they both had 1 point going in. So they both drew this year, and I did too. So we should have a super fun rut camp down there. So I'm going to go down. I think the dates are November 8th through the 16th. Nice. And then if I don't kill during that, I'm going to go down like the 22nd through the that Thanksgiving week.
When does the Wyoming rifle season start?
That would start October 16th, I think.
Okay. Gotcha.
October 9th, somewhere in there.
So you should hopefully have your Wyoming elk tag filled before you go to Kansas. So
I'm hoping so. Yeah, I'm really hoping so. The unit I'm in actually it's a super unique unit. So I'm in Region E, and some background on it. I'm actually going with a buddy. This is a total bizarre story, and I'll make it quick. My wife worked at a pet store in high school.
Yeah,
and it was owned by a couple, maybe 4 or 5 years older than us, and then they got a divorce, pet store closed, whatever. Chantel goes to college. We meet, we get married, and Chantel and I do. And then all of a sudden, I see that this guy that I know, Dustin, who is a friend of mine at bowhunting.com at the time, married this girl from Marengo, Illinois, which is where Chantel's from. And we have a mutual friend, and it's each other. And I'm like, Chantel, how do you know this Jen, who is now Dustin's wife? And she's like, oh, that's who used to own the pet store that she worked at. So Dustin and Jen got married, and they now own together. Dustin and his buddy Rich own Bighorn Outfitters in Buffalo, Wyoming. And so we've always wanted to go out there and hang out with Dustin and Jen for forever. We've always been talking about this, and this is finally the year that we're going to do it. So anyways, that's in Region E of Wyoming, so like the northeast part of the state. You can actually use a rifle September 1st on private land out there.
Wow.
And I still am debating if I'm going to do that or not. I really want to shoot one with the bow.
Yeah.
And I think I still think I can do it, even though it is like some pretty open terrain. My plan is to shoot one with the bow, but I'm going to have the rifle with me in case we see a mega.
What happens when you do that stuff? Because I've done.
Oh, dude, you always kill it with the gun, always.
I'm like, every time I'm like, I'm just gonna take one because it's so stupid. It's just, and then you're like, well, maybe we'll, and then you look like a goofball out there with two weapons. It's like,
I know, totally.
I know.
The good thing is that you're not so constricted by time, so that's the good part.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to just soak this, milk it for everything it's worth. I want to just enjoy it,
Awesome, man. That's going to be a good fall.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a ton of fun.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, it's getting late. We'll let you run.
Yeah.
I got work tomorrow, but thanks for coming on and chatting. It was good to catch up.
Heck yeah. Thank you guys. Thanks for having me for sure.
I just talked about the turkey hunting was poor this year, but you guys want to come out anytime you want to. I know you're trying this year, but it's honestly probably we would have done fine, but maybe next year will be a little better.
I like it. Yeah, John was kind of saying the same thing. I think you guys got hit by some crummy rain that week that I was
the whole
be
spring
out there.
This is the worst spring. It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Morale was not good.
I remember I was hunting with Matt, and I just was like, I think I'm just done with this season.
Yeah.
It was just one thing after the other. The turkeys were bad. It was cold it was cold the whole month, cold and windy. And then it would rain, and it was
birds won't
what
go.
even is this? It's May 25th, and it's 30 degrees in the morning, and I'm like,
God.
What? And windy,
That's terrible. No one wants that when it comes to turkeys.
Yeah, so it was a tough one.
We need to plan it for next year. I told John, I'm like, I got to get out there for that. It'd be so much fun.
It's cool. It's so diverse, too. If you come out here for a week, you can see, like, 3 or 4 different landscapes and have 3 or 4 different types of hunts. Cool, man. Well, thanks.
Awesome, guys.
We appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Yeah. And, dude, thank you guys for having me on, for sure.
Stay in touch.
We got to, for sure. We'll keep in touch, definitely.
All right.
Oh, and we forgot to air that clip of Rick falling in the water, so we'll do that right now.
That's right. Do we even talk about it in the podcast?
We talked at the very beginning.
Okay. Yeah.
We glazed over that part, but that's okay.
He fell in the water. Matt filmed it. Matt wanted to get in there, so he wanted to bring it up. So he had to have a reason to put it in the podcast.
I was so confident. I thought I was going to clear it. I went right in. It was terrible.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching, listening. We'll see you on the next one.
I hate myself. God dang it. I'm so glad you did that. Me too.